Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our last Let's Talk About Race program of 2021. A special thanks to everyone who has participated in this program during the year. A special thanks to two of my colleagues, Claire Phelps and Sierra Williams, whose help has been invaluable during the year of programming. I feel that racism hurts everyone. The more we learn about other cultures, the better chance we have to understand one another and live in a world free of prejudice. So I thank you all for joining us. The library is open if you want to visit, but we also have many offerings online, including curbside pickup of physical materials, virtual programming, such as tonight's program. Virtually, we also have conversational Spanish, guided journaling, Dancing with Erica, and Sierra Masira's Race and Diversity program. These are just a few of the programs we have virtually. We'll continue virtual programming into next year. Depending upon the pandemic, will also depend how many more programs we have where you can actually come to the library physically. We do have programs that you can come into the library. Please check our calendar on our website, and you'll see the gamut of programs that we have. Also, we're currently running a food drive, which is pretty much ongoing all year, but we also have a coat drive at this time of year to share with the community. So please donate what you like and take what you need. Depending on the pandemic environment, we hope to bring back a lot more programs at the library in 2022. So again, please check them out in our calendar. As I've announced many times, the library is fine free. So we want our materials back, but there are no fines at all when you bring things back. We have a great program tonight. So I'm going to turn this over to our volunteer of the year, Patty White. Patty, it's all yours.
I'm the volunteer of the year.
Check out our sign.
No fines for me. Thank you so much. It's great to see everybody. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday. And of course, we're still having New Year and we're in the middle of the Kwanzaa holiday celebration. Before we get started with that, just a quick reminder to please remember to mute your devices if you're not talking. Certainly while the program is being presented, a little bit of background noise can actually come through very weirdly on Zoom. I think we're all learning a lot about Zoom this year. We will, as always, allow time after the presenter, Sierra Williams, is going to do our program tonight. We will have time after that for any questions, comments, maybe stories that anyone would like to share as we learn more about what Kwanzaa is. So as most of you may know, Kwanzaa is a celebration of African heritage that falls between December 26th and January 1st. 7 full days, and today is actually day 4, so it's right in the middle. Before I introduce Sierra, and she's going to tell us more about the history and the traditions of this holiday, we're going to show you a short little video that we downloaded from YouTube that was put up in 2010 by the Malcolm X College, and it is a dance and drumming performance that I think gives us a good flavor for some of the traditions in Africa. We often forget, I think, in the West, the vast size of the continent of Africa. It's not just one small place that's all the same. There are many cultures, languages, and traditions throughout the whole continent. So some of what we're going to see in this video, one of the commenters, when this first was shown on YouTube, mentioned that they themselves are from West Africa and they could recognize some of the dance and culture from Guinea, Mali, and Senegal, all of which are countries in West Africa. So I'm going to start that video now. I'll try to remember to get the sound right. Okay, here we go. Why are you not? Here we go. That was positively amazing. Now let me catch my breath after all that dancing. So friends, I hope you enjoyed that little video. That was just one example of some typical African style drumming and dancing that can be used in many celebrations, not just Kwanzaa. So I would love to introduce now our main speaker for tonight, Sarah Williams, who is the head of Children's Services at the Red Bank Public Library, as well as the head of outreach. She's been there since 2011, so it's 10 years now. In the library, Sarah actually does the coordination, planning, and conducting most of the children's programming, including what she has initiated, the family story time on race and diversity. And I hope that she'll talk a little bit more about that. She's responsible for the story walk at Riverside Gardens. If any of you have been to Riverside Gardens, which is a 1-minute walk from the library on Front Street, you will see, and every month it changes, there's a little walk which includes pages from a children's storybook. And it's Sarah's initiative. In fact, she won an award for this through the State Library Association. It's an effort to encourage activity and literacy. And Sarah pays very close attention to the diversity of all of the library's patrons as well. The children's room is an especially warm and welcoming place for everyone, children and families. Sarah is a longtime resident of Red Bank, and with her husband Horner have raised their 3 daughters there. She's also involved in the Red Bank community through service on the board of the Monmouth Daycare Center. She's a Sunday school teacher at St. Thomas Episcopal Church, and when her children were young, served as a Girl Scout leader and PTO president. So we are really so proud and blessed to have her on staff and doing this work at the Red Bank Public Library. I just wanted to say regarding the story time that she does, and that includes these programs as well, but let's talk about race. The programs that Sarah does now for the children, the story time, family story time on race and diversity, is posted on the library's YouTube and Facebook pages. So if you go to YouTube, you go to the Red Bank Library channel, and you will see some of Sarah's programs. You can also specifically filter for family story time on race and diversity and see some of what she does. If you have young children or grandchildren that you think would benefit, please join the program. So without further ado, Sarah, please tell us all about Kwanzaa.
Okay, hi everybody. Let me fix my screen here. I hope that everybody can see me and see my Kwanzaa display and that you can hear me. I'm a little away from my computer so that you can see everything behind me. Thumbs up, good? Okay. Patty had asked me before we started the program if I had any comments about the dance video that was going to be shown, and I didn't really prepare anything, but I do want to say that it was awesome and inspiring and very in keeping with Kwanzaa in a couple of ways, in that it taught those young people about our culture and about those traditions, and that it encouraged creativity through the dancing, the singing, the drumming, the sewing of the costumes, and we'll get into all of those things and how they relate to Kwanzaa, but that was a beautiful and inspiring performance. So I do want to thank you for inviting me to join you this evening. I'm very happy to participate in Let's Talk About Race as a presenter again. Patty did mention my family story times on race and diversity, and just quickly I'll tell you that my goal there is just to encourage young families to learn about people that are different than them, and to find ways to actively engage in the wider world by broadening their experiences and having discussions as families and with their friends. And books and videos and programs are one way to do that and to get those conversations started. And I just feel that when we take the time to learn about other people and their lives and their cultures and their histories, that of course, and I hope that everybody here already knows this, we discover our common humanity. And then when we can do that, then we can live and work and play peacefully together in community. And that is what it's all about. And community is another important theme of Kwanzaa. So it is the season of celebrations, and one of the most fun ways to learn about other cultures and traditions is to participate in their holiday celebrations. And so I'll quickly hold up this poster. I'm trying to figure out the screen, but these are some of the symbols of Kwanzaa. And of course, I'm going to talk about them. They're all represented here on the table behind me. But my hope is that by the end of this program, you will have an understanding of what they mean and that you will have a new appreciation for Kwanzaa and what a beautiful holiday it is. I'm happy to share it with you tonight. The first thing I want you to know is that Kwanzaa is not a religious holiday. It's a cultural celebration, as Patty said. My family celebrates both Christmas and Kwanzaa. My Christmas tree is right there. So it's a holiday celebration that's centered on community, family, history, and hope. And it's celebrated, as she said, by people of African descent. And it incorporates important values from Africa. And as she said, there are many different traditions and cultures and countries in Africa. But the principles that we're going to talk about are very universal, and you will find that anybody can relate to them. So I think Patty also told you that Kwanzaa falls and is observed between Christmas and New Year. So it always starts on the 26th of December and it ends on January 1st. And I feel that that's really a perfect time for this holiday because it's just human nature at this time of year to start reflecting on the year that has passed and all of the things that have happened, good and bad. And also to be anxious to flip that calendar and get on to the new year, and hopefully with hope that better days are ahead. And so those themes are also consistent with Kwanzaa. I want to read to you a quote from Dr. Maulana Karenga, who is the creator of Kwanzaa. He said this is our duty to know our past and to honor it, to engage our present and to improve it, and to imagine a whole new future and forge it in the most ethical, effective, and expansive ways. I really like that quote. Let me share with you a little bit more about him and the history behind the holiday, and then we'll talk about the symbols and the principles. This is a picture, do this again, of Dr. Maulana Karenga. There we go. This poster is actually from Brookdale Community College. I don't know if you can see that, but he did come and speak at Brookdale back in 2009. And our family went to that presentation. And he is a professor of Africana Studies at Cal State, I think Long Beach. Yeah, Cal State Long Beach. And he conceived of this holiday back in 1966. So that is not ancient history. That is a time that probably all of us on the screen can remember or close to it. And so it's not a tradition that is steeped in history like all of the other holidays that are being celebrated at this time of year. But he came up with it at a time, 1966, when America was in the midst of the civil rights movement. It was a tumultuous time in America. The Vietnam War was going on. And at that time, for Black people in America, the Black Power movement was gaining momentum as people were beginning to get frustrated with the slow pace of change of the nonviolent movement of Dr. Martin Luther King. And so there was a push for a cultural revolution for Black Americans to return to Africa culturally and spiritually, because they couldn't go back physically. And so Kwanzaa was born out of those feelings, and it was also a response to the commercialization of Christmas time. And it was just meant to be a celebration of Black African culture. And it was meant to lift us up and inspire us to do three things: identify, define our own identity, find our own purpose, and build our own future, as he referred to in the quote I read to you a moment ago. So Kwanzaa encourages us to do this by remembering and honoring our ancestors and those who came before us, by supporting each other now in all the ways you can think of, physically, emotionally, spiritually, economically, and also by strengthening our community to make it a better place for our children in the future. And so the terms and concepts that I'm going to review with you tonight were inspired by different African cultures and traditions. I'm going to teach you the Swahili. He chose to use the Swahili language for a lot of these terms. That's a language that's spoken in East Africa. And so I'll teach you those. And I do want to point out that whenever I give a presentation, I do a lot of Kwanzaa presentations for classrooms and schools and other groups. I always wear my Malian clothing and jewelry to remind the audience that this is where the inspiration comes from, and also for me to honor my personal family history, as I was born in Mali. My father's family comes from Mali, and so that's what I'm sporting tonight. Let's go over this Kwanzaa table. Let's see. As I explain each of these items, as I said, I'm going to tell you the Swahili word for them, what their symbolism is, and then I will also explain how we celebrate the holiday. So the first thing on the mat, I'm not going to take this whole thing apart. First thing on the table is the mat. I have another one here that I'll hold up for you to see. The Swahili word for it is mkeka. I wish we were all in a room together so I could hear you say it out loud. Mkeka is the word for mat. And this represents our community. It's the foundation of our display, and it's the foundation of who we are. So it really represents community very well, because you can see that, I think somebody's coming in my house right now. All of the fibers in the mat are interconnected and woven together. And although there are individual fibers, when they are woven together, they make a very strong unit, and that represents our community. And so I like this mat for a couple of reasons. Everybody's display looks a little bit different, of course, but it all has these essential items in it. I like this mat because it's the colors of Kwanzaa, which are red, green, and black, which I'll talk about in a second. But also all of the fibers are different thicknesses, widths, shapes, popping out all over the place. And to me, that just, it reminds me that our community should be inclusive of everybody, no matter who they are or what they look like or where they come from. The next thing on the mat is a candle holder. I will take this off. This is called a Kinara. I'm gonna let you say that too. Kinara is our candle holder, and it is central to our celebration. It has 7 candles in it. Let me make sure I have this centered here. For the 7 days of Kwanzaa. And the candles are the colors of Kwanzaa, as I just said, red, green, and black. And let me tell you what that signifies. It's the same themes that we have been talking about since I started. The red candles represent our history. Red is the color of blood. It is the color of struggle, and it represents all of the hardships and struggles that our ancestors have gone through to get us to where we are today, but it also represents all their victories and their perseverance and their achievements. And so we want to honor those. Let me get this centered. The black candle represents Black people. That's the easy one. It's in the center, and it is the first candle that gets lit on the first night of Kwanzaa and every night thereafter. And then the green candles represent the future. So green is the color of plants and trees and new growth and hope. And that's what the green candles represent. So every night of Kwanzaa, we light a candle. As I said, the black one gets lit on the first night. On the second night, we light the black one and then a red one. And then we go back and forth, black, red, green, do, until they're all lit on the last night of Kwanzaa. As we light those candles, as we light the candles, we talk about the principle of the day. There are 7 principles of Kwanzaa that I'll talk about in a moment, but we discuss that briefly. It's a short little ceremony that we have every night. We talk about the principle of the day and what it means to us and how we can incorporate it more into our daily lives. We dedicate ourselves to doing that by lighting the candle and taking a sip from this cup. This is the next item on my display. It's called the Unity Cup. There's that word unity again. And the Swahili word is Kikombe cha Umoja. It's actually 3 words, cup of unity. Kikombe cha Umoja. Your turn. Can't hear you. I don't even see any lips moving. Come on, people. I'm used to talking to kids. Kikombe cha Umoja is our unity cup, and that's central to our display. I have a couple more things to show you. The corn. Whoa, 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 whoa. The corn on the mat represents children. And so you are meant to have same number of ears of corn on your mat as you have children in your household. So I have 3 daughters. I have 3 ears of corn here. And you may be able to guess why corn represents children. I'll tell you anyway. It's because each kernel is a seed. And so we can plant that seed and grow new stalks of corn. And from those, more ears of corn will grow, just like the generations of our family. And so these represent our children, and our kids are our future. And a reminder that this is what we're working for, to make the world a better place for them. The last thing on the mat is the fruit. And the fruit represents the bounty of the harvest. The word Kwanzaa refers to the first fruits of the harvest. And so the fruit and the harvest are kind of, I tell the kids to think of Thanksgiving. You should have your thankful list still in your mind from Thanksgiving. And this represents all of the things that we should be thankful for. Our family, our friends, our home, our health, our jobs, our pets, whatever it is represented here in the fruit. So that is the Kwanzaa display and the symbolism of that. And I forgot to tell you the words for the corn and the fruit. So the Swahili word for the corn is muhindi, muhindi. And the word for the fruit is mazao, mazao. Okay. I think we will light our candles and talk about the principles of Kwanzaa now. So if you're celebrating Kwanzaa as a family, as I said, during our little ceremony each night, which may only last 10 minutes, this is a nice time to talk about the principles and just reinforce with them values that you think are important and that we want to live by. So on the first night of Kwanzaa, we light the black candle. Oh, I hope you can see. And the first principle of Kwanzaa is Umoja. That's the same word that was in our Kikombe Cha Umoja. Umoja means unity. And so I want to read to you the formal definition from Dr. Karenga. Unity is to strive for, to maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. So if I was having this conversation with my family, we might talk about some of the things that people can think of that we do together to foster unity in our family. We have dinner together every night, or we try to. We help each other with chores. What are some examples of things that we do? And then how about some things that we could do in this coming year? Again, it's that end of the year time where you're coming up with New Year's resolutions. What are some of the things that we could do to foster more unity in our family or in our community? Maybe we could FaceTime with some distant family members once a month, or visit an older family member, something like that. So we would dedicate ourselves to doing that, and we would each take a sip from the unity cup. Everybody always wants to know what goes in the cup. What do you put in the cup? What's in the cup? The kids always want to know that. We just put water in the cup. It's just water. So we pass it around and everybody takes a sip. And then we blow out the candle and press on. But the next night of Kwanzaa, we would light the black candle. And then if you remember, we go back to our history. Those are the red candles. We light a red candle on the second night of Kwanzaa. And the principle of Kwanzaa for the second night is Kujichagulia. Kujichagulia, and that stands for self-determination. And the definition of that is to define and name ourselves, as well as to create and speak for ourselves. And so I saw a quote on Facebook the other day that just, to me, captured the essence of Kujichagulia perfectly. It says, "You are the author of your own story, and you can change the narrative at any time." To me, self-determination means that you have the power to be the kind of person that you want to be. It's all in you, and you have what it takes. And you may have to set some goals and work at it, but you can do it on your own and with the support of your family and your community. And so self-determination, I might ask, or we might talk about some goals that we would like to make for the coming year, for whatever time period, and dedicate ourselves to those. Cheers to those, and pass around the unity cup. On the third night of Kwanzaa, the principle is Ujima. Ujima means collective work and responsibility. Collective work and responsibility is to build and maintain our community together, and to make our brothers and sisters problems our problems, and to, sorry, I'm working off a notes here, and to solve them together, to make our brothers and sisters problems our problems, and to solve them together. And to me, that sounds like a description of being an ally to our community members. And I like to think about all of the communities that we are a part of, all the little circles that we are a part of, whether it's the the community that we live in, our neighborhood, our work, coworkers and friends, our church groups, our social organizations, sports teams, whatever it is, we're part of a lot of different communities. And so think about, and as I go through these principles, I would like you to think about them in your own life and how they play into you and what you do. So is there more that you can contribute to the communities that you are a part of? Are there more ways that you can serve? I lit the candle already. We'll take a sip from the cup to that. Tonight, the principle is Umoja. Umoja means, come on, Umoja. Umoja means collective work and not collective work and responsibility. It means cooperative economics. Cooperative economics is to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them together. So really, this principle encourages us to support Black-owned and minority-owned businesses. And it's something that's really important. If we don't do it for ourselves, who will? And it's something that's easier and easier to do now, actually, because we may have some businesses in town. We definitely do. But you can also find people online that you can support as well. And so I would encourage you to do that. The next night, the principle is Nia. Nia means purpose. To make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. Purpose. And so when I think about purpose, I think about it in a couple of ways. When you do something or commit to something, that you do it with purpose and intention and passion, and also that you find your purpose. Everybody theoretically has their own purpose and things that they are meant to do or want to do. And so finding your purpose sometimes is a lifelong pursuit, but it's something that's worthwhile. And when you do that, it strengthens not only yourself, but your community too. And so that's purpose. We've got two more principles. This one is my favorite, Kuumba. Kuumba means creativity. And so the formal definition is to always do as much as we can in the way that we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than we inherited it. Did I light a candle for Kuumba? Did not. I just think it's so important to have a creative outlet. Even as adults, with the kids, it's easy. But even as adults, to find a way to express yourself creatively, whether it's writing, maybe you have secret dance parties in your house. I don't know, but that's fun. Singing, dancing. This is where I say that video that we watched really plays into this, this principle with the singing, the dancing, the playing of the music on the instruments, the sewing of the costumes, cooking, writing, drawing, whatever it is. Find a way to do that and dedicate yourself to doing that a little bit. Because I think it just lifts your spirits in a way that other things, work and other life, does not. And so, Kuumba, creativity. The last principle is Imani. And tell you that Imani means faith. Faith. And he defines it to believe with all our hearts in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. So normally when you think of faith, you think of your spirituality and faith maybe in a higher power, and that's definitely meaningful to a lot of people. But in terms of our Kwanzaa celebration, we're talking about faith in yourself, faith in your family, in your community, and your friends, to support each other and lift you up, and to work together, like I said, to make the world a better place. And so that's what I think of when I think of faith. So now all of our candles are lit. I wish I could get up and turn off a light so you could see them, but it's a beautiful display. I'm going to leave them lit as I tell you a couple more things about the Kwanzaa celebration. On the last night of Kwanzaa, some families have a feast or a party, a meal together with family or community members, and that's called the Karamu. Karamu is the feast. And at that event, sometimes gifts are given to the children. And the important thing about the gifts is that they're not toys or gift cards or video games. They are gifts that that play into the principles of Kwanzaa. So we want our children to know about our history. We might give them books, just a biography or a nonfiction book about an event or a person in history that they may want to learn about. Or in line with the principle of creativity or kuumba, maybe we'll give them a craft project, or we'll do something together at the event together. Or maybe we'll play a game together or do a puzzle, something that brings community together where we're working together. And that's how that celebration goes. The other term I want to tell you, those gifts are called zawadi. Zawadi. I want to give you this phrase. You might see it. I've seen it on Facebook. I know some of you are friends with other friends that I have, and people have been posting habari gani. Habari gani means what's the news? It's a greeting that people say in during the week of Kwanzaa. And you are supposed to reply with the principle of the day. So if I say, habari gani, I can't hear you, but the principle of today is ujima. Ujama. Let me see, what is today? Today is Ujama. Ujama, cooperative economics. So that's how you would reply. Habari gani, you would simply say Ujama.
We have people muted, Sarah.
What?
Do you want people to unmute so they can repeat?
No, I'm almost done talking, and then I'm gonna just wait for the flood of people talking.
Okay.
I think habari gani might be the last term I wanted to teach you. The other one is harambe, which is just a celebratory word. Harambe, which means let's pull together. Again, referring to our community and coming together. So you may hear that or see that word, harambe. That's really all that I have to share with you in terms of the symbols and the principles of Kwanzaa. I think it's a beautiful holiday, and the fact that it came from the mind of one person is pretty amazing to me. The more I think about it and all of the principles and how meaningful they are, I really appreciate it more and more. This is a holiday that I did not grow up celebrating. If you know anything about me or my family, I am mixed. I'm half white and half Black. Like I told you, my father comes from Mali, and they don't celebrate Kwanzaa in Africa. And I grew up with my mother's side of the family. We did not celebrate Kwanzaa. I had probably never heard of Kwanzaa until I went to college. And then really what happened was when my daughter was in second grade, my oldest daughter, she was one of a few Black kids in her class, and her teacher just came up to me as a Black parent and said, can you come to our class and talk about Kwanzaa? I was like, I don't know anything about Kwanzaa, but okay. And so my husband went out and bought this beautiful display, and I read some articles and did some research and got some children's books, and that's how it all began for us. And that's the year we started to celebrate Kwanzaa. And that little girl is 24 years old now, so that was a long time. But that's how we got into it. I still do presentations, like I said, for that same school and for other schools and organizations. So I'm happy that I was able to share with you today. And if you have any questions, or if anybody else celebrates Kwanzaa and wants to share their experience, I'd love to hear it.
Oh my God, Sarah, that was amazing. Thank you so much. I think since we have such a small group, if people want to just jump in with either comments, or maybe somebody has stories that they'd like to share or has questions. So actually, Boris, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question. Or if people want to put comments in the comment box, the chat box, that would be great. Go ahead, Boris.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I was just curious. You mentioned that the word Kwanzaa has something to do with the fruit, but is it like a particular fruit, or what's the origin?
No, the word Kwanzaa, and there's a phrase that it's not coming to me at the moment that goes with Kwanzaa, but it refers to the first harvest, the fruits of the first harvest. And so it's meant to be like a harvest celebration, similar to Thanksgiving, but it's not related to a particular fruit. And you can have, as I said, everybody has different, kind of a different display. You need to have 7 candles. You need to have a cup. You need to have fruit. I don't have any, I have 1 orange in my house, so I don't have any fresh fruit on here, but I have these sparkly fake fruits that the kids really ooh and ah at when I go to class. Some people put fresh corn on their table. So you'll see displays that look, you know, they have the same elements, but they all look, everybody's home, it's like a Christmas tree or whatever decorations you have. Everybody's looks a little different.
Jim has a question.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Jim.
Hi. Is there any like Kwanzaa inspired music?
Well, this is a thing. There's really not a lot. There are some songs. There are some songs, and I mean, I'm the children's person, so I'm always trying to find little songs to teach to kids. So there's a handful of those. There's not a lot of books. Talking to my daughter, like, I'm gonna try to write a children's book about Kwanzaa, because there's not that many.
That would be a good idea. Yeah.
It's
That
just
was
a
going to be
market
my
that's
next
not
question for
catching
you.
on.
I was going to ask you what children's books there are for Kwanzaa. So I guess you're going to have to write one.
Well, most of the books that are about Kwanzaa just do what I just did. They just tell you what the symbols are and what the principles are, but they're not like catchy, you know. You can read it once, you're not going to read it every night to a little kid. So there's a couple good story books that I bring with me. Of course, I don't have them sitting here, but one is called Santa's Kwanzaa, which is very cute. And another one is called Little Rabbit's Kwanzaa. So those are 2 storybooks actually that I read in my family story time on race and diversity. Last year I read Santa's Kwanzaa, and this year I read Little Rabbit's Kwanzaa. So you could see them on video.
Sarah,
Judith. Judith had a question. Did you want to unmute, Judith, and ask your question?
What was the significance of the pictures on the mat that you showed us at the very beginning?
Oh, so the mat, so this It's just a poster that has all the things that we just talked about. I'm gonna try to hold it. So there's the mkeka, the mat. This is, oh gosh, I'm backward. There's the Kinara, the candle holder. There's the Kikombe cha Umoja, the unity cup. What's this? The corn, the muhindi. The mazao, the fruits of the harvest. And what's that? Zawadi. Those are the gifts.
Thank you very much. That's great.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So I'm always interested in the food of all the holidays. So when I looked up Kwanzaa, I looked at a menu for a special Kwanzaa feast that included peanut soup and African orange salad. Do you make a special dinner, a Kwanzaa dinner for the holiday?
We get together with my sister-in-law and my nephew. We just have traditional food that we have that we like to eat. We don't make anything special African dishes or anything like that. As I said, my family comes from Mali, so when I was younger, it's funny because my mom used to visit my classes and wear her African clothes, and she would make an African peanut stew called tagatage, which I really liked, but my husband is allergic to nuts, so I never even make it.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
no, we would just have a traditional big family dinner, just like the Thanksgiving and the Christmas dinner we've just had.
Well, it seemed like a lot of the foods were Thanksgiving kinds of foods, okra with corn, yams,
Yeah,
things like that.
yeah.
Wait, William, do you want to ask your question or you want me to read it?
Is it in the chat?
William, it's in the chat.
In the chat.
We have used the book, The 7 Days of Kwanzaa by Melrose Cooper. It is sung like the 12 Days of Christmas.
Yeah, that's one that we've used in the past. We celebrate Kwanzaa also. And first of all, really appreciated your presentation. We had a couple of the words screwed up, so you straightened us out on that. But yeah.
I'm gonna look for this book.
It's good. It's a good one. It's one we'll sing every night. So.
I
that's
have it.
fun.
I have it right here.
Is that it?
The
Is that
library
it?
has that.
Here,
That's probably not
It's
it.
not
The
exactly
7
the
days
same one.
Of Kwanzaa.
This is.
That doesn't look like a fun children's
no.
book. We actually do have that book, but I never thought to sing it.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, we
So
sing it every night.
William, is that
Nice.
a children's book?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to sing us the verse for tonight, do you, William?
I'll give it a good song.
Gonna give it a try.
Okay, I'm gonna find it though tomorrow when I go to the library, and I'm gonna.
I'm not sure you will, Sarah, because I have it.
You have you took out all the Kwanzaa books?
No, I only have the 7 Days of Kwanzaa,
Oh,
which is.
but his
that's
book
an
looks
adult
different
book.
than yours.
Yeah, it's a different author, I believe, but
Night
that's the one we
is-
have.
Ujama.
Yes. So on the 4th day of Kwanzaa, my people gave to me 4 spending dollars, red, green, and black, 2 drums a drumming, and a promise of unity.
Nice.
That's nice. Yeah, that's nice.
Thank
I like
you.
it.
I like that.
I'm
Very good.
happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy to get that tip. I did make up a song. Like I said, I'm a person of faith, so to me, Kwanzaa is also a holiday of light, and so the song "This Little Light of Mine" comes to my mind, and so I just made up new verses to that. So I say, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine," and then the next one I say, "Everywhere in my community, I'm gonna let it shine. And then the next one is support my brothers and sisters too. I'm gonna let it shine. And then just go on and on.
For each
Oh,
day.
wow.
That's nice. Yeah,
I like that too.
do too. Nice.
Anybody else have a question?
I was wondering if folks want to turn their cameras on. I mean, sometimes during the presentation, people turn their cameras off, but we don't mind seeing your faces if you'd like to show them.
Maybe they have their pajamas on.
Well, I know that's the way you go to Zoom now. Nobody thinks a thing of it anymore.
No.
Yep.
Before I
Half-dressed.
forget, I wanted to make sure to mention that we do have a program for January, January 26th. We will be presenting a program on the monument that will be placed in Eatontown next spring to commemorate the one documented lynching in New Jersey that we know of Samuel Mingo Jack Johnson, when he died there in 1886, I believe it was. So there will be a whole ceremony, and Kerwin Webb, who's very involved in that monument placing, will be doing the program. So that'll be January 26th. So just mark your calendars.
That's all we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to say I really learned a lot, Sarah. I know a little bit of the basics about Kwanzaa. I think these stories of it seems like a holiday that any family or group of people can adapt to what works for you, and to hear the little stories of what you do in your home, and then you know, William putting the book to music just spontaneously, and like, why not? And I appreciate the concept of these universal principles. When you think about it, the heritage of all the cultures of the world is really our human heritage, belongs to all of us, and we need to know more so that we can remember that we're brothers and sisters. And we learned some new words tonight. I was saying them, Sarah, you couldn't hear me.
Yay.
I'm sure I've forgotten them all right
They're
away.
tricky. They
Yeah.
are tricky.
Yeah.
From Sue Goldberg, she said, thank you for the beautiful explanations, the new vocabulary, and the history of the holiday.
Thanks, Sue.
Thanks from Sue. Anyone else that has something to share or a question?
Just thank you. It was really interesting. Thank you. I learned a
You're
lot.
welcome. Thank you. Happy to be here and help. Happy Kwanzaa, Boris
That's
said.
good.
Happy Kwanzaa and Happy New Year.
Harambe.
Happy New Year.
Harambe. Yeah.
Happy
Harambe. I'll remember that.
Harambe.
Harambe.
Yeah. I know that
Thank you.
word too.
All right,
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone, for joining tonight. It will be recorded. I know this is a hard time of year for people to join in the program, but we will have this on our YouTube channel, and we encourage you to tell your friends about it, and please share.
And please remember to check out Sarah's story time on our YouTube channel or Facebook page. Sarah, you are a beautiful presenter. Thank you for talking to us, you know, just like if we were in your story time, because we all learned a lot. It was
Good.
lovely.
You're welcome.
Mhm. Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone,
everybody.
for coming.
Thanks for
Good night,
Happy
joining.
New
everybody.
Year.
Happy New
Happy New
Year.
Year, everybody.
Stay well and safe.
Yes.
Yes.
Stay
Yes.
safe,
yes.
everybody. Thanks
Okay.
again, Patty. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Sarah, Claire,
You're
and
welcome.
Linda.
Thank you.
Bye,
All
everybody.
right. Good night, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.